Okay, hey everyone. This is part 2 of what you can do with leftover rotisserie chicken. First, I am going to make some homemade tortilla chips. After this, I am going to make homemade quesadillas with the leftover rotisserie chicken. So all you do is cut it in half with a pizza cutter and then cut that half into half. And right now I already have my fire hot so I can make my chips. Okay. So just drop them in the oil. And depending on what your fire is on, my fire is on medium heat. So you have to be careful with them because it will burn easily. Sometimes they do like to stick to each other. Just want to separate them. And let them cook. And I actually prefer homemade tortilla chips. These are better and more healthier for you. Rather than the store-bought ones. And the oil that I'm using is olive oil. And you can usually tell when it needs to be turned. If you look at this one here, how on the layer that was not in the oil seems to be cooking. Just flip it. Okay. And you want it to cook it till it's golden brown or to the color that you like. And usually I just kind of swirl them around, push them down a little bit on the oil to make sure they're frying up nice and crispy. You want to make sure you do not burn them. You don't want them too hard so that you or your guests will not like them. But you want them hard enough so they actually sound like a chip and not just a corn tortilla drenched in oil. And you just continue to flip them. And see, like this one in the middle, that's pretty. So I'm using yellow corn tortillas. You could use white, it's whatever you prefer. And then, like I said, make sure that your heat is on medium heat when you cook them, and make sure you just watch them. You don't want to fry chips and then walk away. You have more of a chance of burning them if you do it that way. And see, just by, if you can hear that, you can tell that the chip's almost done. So I'm going to say these are done. Look at it's a nice brown color. So I'm going to grab my bowl that is lined with paper towel. And I lined it with paper towel so that it could drain off some of the oil of your chips. And you're going to take them out. Shake them a little bit so you get the excess oil off of it. Put them in your bowl. And see, that's a good color right there. It's a perfect color. Okay, and I'm going to do one more, just to show you again. Like I said, you want to make sure your fire is hot. Your oil is really hot. That's the same when you're frying your tortilla chips. And once you have homemade tortilla chips, you would never buy store-bought again. And especially since the prices are going up on chips or anything else in the grocery store, it'd be good just to buy you a bag of corn tortillas for what, $1.99, $2.99, and make your own chips. Especially if you're doing like Taco Tuesday or any day. And again, you want to make sure that you're not going to burn them, so you want to flip them every so often. And this is going to be the last one I make, so I don't want to make too many. And actually, I make homemade tortilla chips when I do my hummus. I like pita bread, but I do prefer homemade tortilla chips with my hummus, or any dip that I make. You see how quickly these fry up? Okay, so I'm going to just turn them one more time. I'm actually going to turn my heat off because this is the last batch that I'm making. So I turn my fire off. Okay. And see, that took, what, less than 5 minutes to make the ones that I did. And before I put my corn tortillas in the oil, I did preheat my skillet. So now I'm just going to put them in my bowl. And again, you could fry them to how you like them. So right after you take them out of the fire, off the skillet, you want to sprinkle some salt on it. Well, actually, I'm going to sprinkle this cilantro lime pepper salt is what I'm going to put on my chips. So I'm going to sprinkle some on there, and then just toss it. And make sure your seasoning's on it. Just a little bit more. And there you go. Homemade tortilla chips. Okay, so now I'm on to my quesadilla. I have my cast iron skillet preheating. And then I have chicken breast, chopped, diced up. And then also I have sliced up onions. This is half of a large yellow onion. Okay. And then while I'm waiting for this to heat up, I just want to hear, look at this. This is the chip that I just made. Look at, this is the chip that I just made. Look. You see how as crunchy it is? Even though I got some in my, yeah, but that's okay. I already done this yet. So, I am going to add in my onion. I'm going to mix that around. Take this out. Okay. So you're going to add in one onion, or half of an onion, like I said. And then I'm going to add in peppers. So this will probably equal to one large pepper. So these are, like I said before, homegrown peppers that was harvested last year and frozen. So I'm going to add that in there. Mix that up. My fire's on medium heat. And I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil in this pan. So make that down. Okay. So I have my onions, my peppers in here. My fire's on medium. I'm going to grab my chicken, put it in the pan, in the skillet. And this is the Cajun rub rotisserie chicken, but I'm going to add some garlic salt. You can add whatever seasonings you would like. Onion powder. And pepper. And basically all I'm doing is making sure my onions and the peppers are cooked, because the chicken's already cooked. Okay, so my chicken mixture is fine. The onions are just the way I like it. The peppers and the onions. It's still a little translucent. It's still crispy. I'm going to turn my fire off. Mix around just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put this in a bowl, and I'm going to get my quesadillas, my tortillas ready. Okay, so I did not put in the bowl quite yet. I did add some tomatoes to it, and these are a few of the cherry tomatoes that I add into it. And then also I'm going to add some homemade pickled jalapeños into it as well. And you don't have to add the jalapenos to it if you do not want to. It's however you like it. If you don't like tomatoes, or if someone in your family do not like tomatoes, you don't have to add it. This is just how I'm adding it. And I'm just basically warming it up, the tomatoes, because they're still going to cook inside of the tortilla when we make a quesadilla. And I'm softening up the jalapenos. Okay, so I think it's warm thoroughly with the tomatoes and the jalapenos. Again, I'm going to turn off my fire. And I'm going to put this in a bowl. And so it depends on what size tortillas that you get. This mixture can make, I would say, about 4 quesadillas, depending on it. If you get the big ones, probably about 3. So I am going to make the quesadilla in the same skillet, because my tortillas that I have is pretty big. Okay, so I'm going to turn my fire back on, and I'm going to put in at least 2 tablespoons of butter into my skillet. Mix it around. Turn my fire down a little. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I do my quesadillas. Okay, so these are the size of the tortillas that I have. So they're pretty big. They're kind of big. But you use the ones that you have on hand. These are the ones I have on hand. So you're gonna have one. You're gonna put it down. Turn the fire, press on the hot. I actually brown both sides of the tortillas when I cook them. Turn this up just a little bit more. You see, kind of getting those bubbles here. Flip it again. This one doesn't want to act right. There you go. Okay, so with that one, I'm gonna get my cheese. And turn my fire down a little bit. And kind of spread it on here. And it'll go down once so you put your mixture on it, your chicken and your peppers. Mixture. Spoon that on there. You can go up to the edge of the tortilla, or if you want to just put it in the middle, that's fine. A little more. Okay. Then you're going to add more cheese on top. And I'm only adding more cheese on top so that the top layer of the tortilla will stick. And the tortilla, put it on top, press down. Watch your arm, don't bring your arm. Press down on it. And then we're going to flip it. So let me show you how the bottom looks. Oh, that looks good. So some of the filling may come out, and that's fine. I'm just use my hand. Oh. And there you go. And look how pretty and golden that is. Okay, so I'm going to turn the fire off. And I'm going to add this to a plate. I'm going to get my plate. I got my plate. My quesadilla. See how nice and golden brown that is? And I'm going to lift it with was the cheese on there, so, but it's not going to lift up. Okay. So now I just moved it to my island, and I'm going to cut the quesadilla. You could cut it like a pizza. Get your pizza cutter. Cut it. Will this be a nice size that your children can share? Look at that. Let me show you how that looks. Look at that quesadilla. Look at that. Very good. So, you could garnish it with some cilantro leaves. Get you some sour cream. My bad. Don't stir it like I did. You could put some on there. You could put it on the side, in the middle of it. Add you some salsa to it. On each side, however you would like to do it. And that's how I make my chicken quesadilla with leftover rotisserie chicken. So I'm going to add my chips to it, my homemade chips. Put it on the side. Stir like this. Look at that. So you got your homemade quesadilla with some homemade tortilla chips. Hope you enjoy.